Hello, and welcome to Rock Your Block, where we highlight individuals who impact our community. I'm your host, Larry Laws. On today's segment of First Home Alliance, we have a member of our own staff. Many of you have seen her in person. Others may have heard about the great work she is doing with our organization and in the community. She has been with the organization for over 17 years and has coached thousands of individuals through the home buying process and helped make their dreams come true by becoming first-time home buyers. She have also held hands and held back tears when advising homeowners and renters that are on the verge of losing their home to foreclosure and facing evictions. Prior to First Home Alliance, she worked in the mortgage industry as a processor. Her pastime include home decoration, traveling. She's married, a mother of 4 wonderful boys that keep her on her toes. Please welcome to our show, First Home Alliance HUD-approved certified counselor, Charlene Watkins Byrd. Charlene, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Well, thanks for waving through the traffic and getting here today.
Right.
Yes. Well, today we want to highlight, you and some of the great work you've done with First Home Alliance, and also talk about some of our programs. First, how's those boys of yours?
Good. Eating me out of house and home, but good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they awesome.
Yes. Well, you've been with us for 17 years, and you started, you was in your 20s then.
I know. Yeah.
Yes. And so it's been a while. And so just share with us a little bit about what you've done with First Home Alliance, what you have done.
So with First Home Alliance has become like a child of mine. Like you said, I started when I was in my 20s, and I'm old. I ain't gonna say how old, but I'm old.
Okay.
And so it allowed me to see that I had a passion for community that I didn't really know that I had prior to starting with First Home Alliance. And so since joining First Home Alliance, I think I've been able to really impact my community in ways that I probably wouldn't have been able to do before. I think First Home Alliance has really allowed me to see the passion I have and kind of grow it in a way that I didn't think I would be able to do with any other organization.
Yes, and I see you also grown a family with First Home Alliance. And how has that impacted your kids working for a housing counseling agency?
By working at First Home Alliance, my children have been able to see how First Home Alliance has impacted the community. And so a lot of times the events that we do in the community, they volunteer. It was really funny that my son recently had a birthday, and I can recall him being 5 years old and chasing people down in the parking lot to give them flyers about events that we were having, and us actually using him as a tool to be able to get the word out. And so I think my children have been able to see how First Home Alliance has impacted.
I can remember that. And that was a very good tool. Those kids there.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, since we've been doing this, we have impacted so many families, about the home ownership. I mean, I think that is something that we pride ourselves in, and we helped over 5,000 households and first-time homebuyers become successful homeowners, over 5,000. Talk to us about how you was able to do that, impact families to become first-time homebuyers.
The way that I was, we, First Home Alliance, was able to impact families in home ownership is really the education. That has been, I would say, the #1 tool that has truly allowed First Home Alliance to achieve that, successful number. That's a big deal. 5,000, That's a huge deal. And I think that education had a lot to do with it.
What are some of your experiences of them coming into the classroom, to the weekend workshops?
I'll tell you, when individuals come in, the first thing that I'll ask them on a scale of 1 to 10 where they're at in terms of feeling like their readiness. And usually the number is pretty low, but by the time that they leave, when we ask them the exact same question and we give them that scale of 1 to 10, now that number is a lot higher. Now, they're at the 5 or 6, or they're a little bit more comfortable. I think they feel more empowered, by taking that class.
And so what is, at the end of that class, because some think that I can just sit back, there is no end of course test, so I'm not going to get a lot out of it. I didn't put a lot up front, What is some of the assessments you had at the end of that course? How are they fulfilled? Are they satisfied with the information that's being given?
I think they're fulfilled. They're definitely satisfied. Sometimes they feel like it's an information overload. definitely information overload. But they just didn't realize in terms of home ownership. I say people don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And by the time they finish taking that class, I definitely feel like they're empowered and they're ready. They're a lot more ready to move forward.
If you don't mind, just give us the steps that they go through in that class briefly.
Yeah, in that class we started off with personal finance because that's pretty much where, I would say to anybody, you want to assess where you're at personally.
Right.
And then from there we have industry experts to come in. So it's not First Home Alliance. We have some major community partners, some awesome community partners coming in to educate. So we go from personal finance, we talk about the credit report, credit issues, what you can expect from a lender, what you can expect from your realtor, home inspection, closing. I mean, it's the whole process in itself in 6 hours. So that's a big deal.
That's 6 hours.
Yes.
Supposed to be expert then.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, are there some special programs that you have? Maybe some homeowners that, not everyone can get over the finish line. What are some of the products and programs that you may have to help individuals that may need a little help?
One of the excellent products that I think First Home Alliance works in conjunction with the state is the Spark program. And this particular tool it really helps people who need that push, to get to the finish line. Basically be in a more affordable situation, possibly be eligible to purchase something a little bit higher because of this tool.
Okay. And do you have a story that you can share with a recent homeowner or a home purchaser that you was able to assist?
Yes, I do actually. So we had a client. He was, I'm not going to say he was new to the country, but he is an immigrant. He came to the country, and unfortunately, he did experience divorce, and that's something that. It happens, right? And so he experienced divorce. He was a father of 3. He was living in a 1-bedroom with a den apartment, just not enough. I got 4 kids. You need space in between them kids so you don't go to jail, right? And so he needed that. So he contacted First Home Alliance, and he didn't know where to start. He really didn't know where to start. We worked with him, help him build that tool, help him assess himself, see where he was in terms of affordability, helped him build a team, and then really move forward to that purchase. And in actuality, he was able to do it. He was very successful.
Yes, well, that's great. That's great. Now, of course, I love those feel-good stories. That's what help to drive and inspire to become an agency to help individuals become first-time homebuyers. But we're also on the other side of that, helping homeowners and renters. Tell us about helping homeowners that are in situations and also renters. What are some of the services that First Home Alliance provide?
Some of the services that First Home Alliance provide is loss mitigation or rental eviction prevention. These services, we're going to act as an advocate on your behalf to really, I'm not going to say talk on your behalf, but coach you in the process to be able to sustain home ownership or be able to sustain that rental agreement. Some of the programs that are going on, there's, funds available to help individuals, and we help guide our community to get to those resources.
Yes. And I know I didn't have to ask you to think about a story, because I'm quite sure you come up with stories every week.
I got some stories.
It's not one of those stories that you got this week when you say, "Oh, I think something's going to happen tomorrow." But tell me a success story that you had recently
With the loss mitigation.
Yes.
So I have a really, this situation right here. I take a lot of stuff personal because it's important that people have shelter. It's extremely important. And so we had a situation where the person actually had a sale date on their property, and they came to First Home Alliance in the 9th hour, so to speak, and we were able to guide them to the resources that the state was offering. We were able to connect directly to the state and stop that sale hours before that sale would have took place. And I think why it emotionally touched me is because we were able to save this person from losing over $187,000. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yes.
That's a huge deal.
Yeah, a lot of them are selling on gold mines. They're selling on equity and the future, the future of the next generation. And so that definitely is a springboard to help move their family in a new direction. So I appreciate your work making that happen. And so First Home Alliance, of course, we know is making a great impact with homeowners, but also speak to us about the another population. We work with new immigrants and helping them with rental assistance.
So yes, the rental assistance also is another component that is, really important right now. People just, didn't expect to be into hardships they're in, and unfortunately they are in those hardships, and we work with the community to guide them to the different programs that the state is offering. Sometimes, like I said, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And First Home Alliance is, we don't gatekeep anything. Whatever we know, we want you to know. And so we're guiding them to those different programs to be able to help them get caught up on that rent. And some of these programs can even pay it forward, to put them in a better position.
That sounds good. And so we're going to take a short break here, but when we come back, I want to talk about some of the other ways that some of the community partners can play a part, to help us do more in our community.
Absolutely.
We're about to take a short break, but before we go, I would like to remind you that First Home Alliance is a HUD-approved housing counseling agency serving the national capital area. If you are a first-time home buyer or homeowner in need of mortgage assistance, please visit the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development website to find a HUD-approved agency in your area. We'll be right back after the break. Stay tuned.
With First Home Alliance, a little bit about First Home Alliance. We are a HUD-approved housing counseling agency that was established in 2002 by our executive director, Larry Law. He established the nonprofit. He established it because his mother purchased her first home at the age of 65. And everyone was like, how did you do that? Because her income was really low. And so that's how he found out about the USDA program. And so through the USDA program, his mother was able to purchase her first home. It intrigued him to see how he could help individuals basically experience the American dream of homeownership. So he established the nonprofit. Mission is to increase home ownership to low to moderate income families. And so what does First Home Alliance do?
Welcome back. You're watching Rock Your Block. I'm your host, Larry Laws of First Home Alliance. And if you're just now tuning in, we're joined today with First Home Alliance HUD certified senior housing counselor, Charlene Watkins Byrd. Charlene, just before the break, we started talking about our customers and our community partners. Talk to us a little bit about our fall event.
All right, so our fall event is an annual event that we have every year, and we've had for, I don't know,
Over 10 years.
Yes, it's been a minute.
Yes.
It's been a minute that we've had this event. And so this event is really an opportunity for our community partners as well as our clients to kind of gather together during the day to get more information about how, they can continue to be successful stewards with their money. Our community partners, it's a great opportunity for them to showcase who they are and what they're doing in the community as well.
Yes, and so last year when we had this event, we kicked it off that first session. Talk to us about stretching and getting things started at the beginning of the event.
So First Home Alliance, one of the good things that I really like about us is that we understand that the fact that health plays a major role in our finances. So a lot of the events that we have, we kind of incorporate health. And so we kicked off our,
too.
It's a competition, y'all. It's definitely a competition. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to win. So we started off our event with one of our wonderful community partners, stretching, yoga. I mean, it was great because we had some of our partners who were there who kind of got in on it as well.
Yes, and it's amazing, people think, you're going to start off and, let's do an icebreaker, no, we like move away from the desk,
Right.
We don't have mats today, but
Right.
we can stretch standing up.
Because
Yes.
y'all, I need WD-40,
Yeah, right.
so that's something that I really appreciate.
Yes, and so we started off with yoga, and we had some amazing partners, and normally we have amazing partners, and so there are financial institutions, there's financial planners, business entrepreneurship, a lot of different things, to actually help them elevate them and move them in the right direction.
Right.
Yes. And so during our lunch, what was the luncheon about last year, recall?
So again, First Home Alliance has the pleasure of working with great people, and so our luncheon last year was the American Legion, and so we had the American Legion Post 114 who was there, and they did a great presentation, and we had a lot of members in the room who had served and had given back.
Yeah, and you know that's one of our major focus, you know, low and moderate income, but also our veteran military community. And so we're doing more of that this year. You know, so what are you doing? I know I almost jumped ship and went to the evening event,
Right.
But how's this thing gonna be decorated for during the day?
Because the theme, so to speak, is veterans, we really want to say thank you. We really want to say thank you to our veteran community, and so we really want to showcase. We want to showcase all the branches. We want to showcase that the men and the women who serve in our community, and so we're definitely going to pay homage to the men and women in our community. We're going to just, you know, show up and show out like we always do.
Yes, and it's true. You know, when First Home Alliance was first established, you know, I was naive to think that the largest portion of veterans retired,
Right.
And not knowing years after I retired, you didn't only have to serve in combat or finish 20 years, that you was a veteran. And so we have over 20 million veterans in our community today. And just like our population, low and moderate income earners, we have a veteran community that need our help as well. And so we are intentionally reaching out to better serve our military veteran community. And so this year, and like going forward, we're going to continue to outreach to our military installations for active duty reservists, guys and girls that are still in uniform, but also reaching those 20 million out there, those that have served, that are now have retired to uniform or got out of uniform, those veterans, and serve them as well. You know, and so what are some of the things in reference to helping the veterans become homeowners? What do we do?
I mean, with our veteran population, it's really, again, it comes down to the resources. Making sure that that population has all of the tools that they can get to help them in terms of their shelter, to help them in terms of different lending products that's available specifically for that community.
Yes, and I really appreciate the work that you're doing behind the scenes, talking to those veterans, talking to their families, you know, whether they have credit challenges, they have budget challenges just like the rest of us. And so I really appreciate you working with that. But also I want to shout out to our other group of community partners that specifically team with us to go into the community to actually help, you know, build camaraderie, educate the industry in reference to how to better serve, and also about the VA loan and the home loan program. So I want to just give a shout out to our community partners there.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so this evening, I'm speaking of the symposium, the Financial Wellness Symposium, you know, whether we have events there for wellness, health and wellness, and also financial, helping people move and become more financial capable. But also we want to move into the evening. So, and you got a big part in that decorating.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
So we're going to decorate the place. But what about before the evening start, about a networking, and what can we offer to partners to come in and how they can improve their businesses by joining us?
I think, you know, by one of the things that we focus on with our community partners is kind of like we want to showcase them just as much as they want to showcase us. And so our community partners who work with us for this annual event, they're able to get their name out there to the 5,000 plus homeowners and renters that we have served. They're able to come to the event if they would like to. They're able to, you know, speak, you know, and let the community know who they are, what they do, the services that they provide. Those are some of the things that I would say that that's available for our
okay, so it's a great opportunity for them to network, reach audiences they never met before. But also tell us a little bit about that evening. Okay, once we get through the network and reception, what are some of the things that take place during the evening?
Y'all, when the evening comes, that's when it's time for us to really just have a good time, because let me tell y'all, there's a lot of work that is involved with this event. And so by the time the evening comes, it's really that opportunity for us as a whole, First Home Alliance, along with our community partners, to really kick back, have a good time, and really I always say party with a purpose. You know, there's definitely a purpose behind that toasting, and it's time for them to really party with a purpose. We have a live band that's coming out there, dancing, and I think the vibe of the event in itself is so good because we're all trying to do the same thing, which is really support our community.
Yes, yes. Well, I really appreciate the event. You know, we have with awards presentation. We also have, of course, the dance, and we have live testimonials. What would you have to tell with individuals that maybe haven't came to First Home Alliance, they may be coming through the door now, about how important it is for them to share their story?
I always say if you don't have a test, you don't have a testimony. And a lot of times the individual that we serve, there's some test in some form, in some fashion. And so by that individual telling their testimony, it lets the community know, guess what? I am not the only person experiencing this, and this person who may look like me has experienced this, but they shared their story. They told the world, because a lot of times, especially whether it be purchase or a hardship, we kind of keep stuff, you know, to ourselves. And so by telling their story and by letting the community know, hey, this is what I went through, but this is this you know, wonderful organization that was able to assist me. What that does is basically it becomes a commercial, and it lets the people know that I do not have to fight this fight alone, whether I'm trying to get a house or where I'm trying to sustain my home or I'm sustaining my rent or what have you. It just lets people know, yeah, you don't have to do this by yourself.
That's true, yes. And it's very important. You know, it's important for us, it's important for outreach and broadcasting, and also our partners. Our partners, we have very many partners that help, you know, monetarily, you know, for us to do the great work that we do, that we can reach out more. They want to hear those stories as well. And so just briefly, tell us a short story that we have to actually report it to one of our funders just recently.
So just recently we reported a situation, again, a person was experiencing a hardship. It was actually a veteran who experienced a hardship, and you know, this person not only was a veteran, but he was going through a difficult health situation with his spouse. And he was able to reach out to First Home Alliance. First Home Alliance was able to act on his behalf and assist him to make sure that he was able to sustain home ownership. And I'm gonna tell you, he said that he didn't think that he was gonna be able to keep this home. Now, this is a home this person had lived in almost 30 years. Almost 30 years, and you would think at the 30-year mark it's about to be paid for, but it wasn't. But to imagine almost losing something that you had had for almost 30 years, and to be a veteran and serve your, you know, serve and to be in this situation. And so First Home Alliance, act as an advocate, was able to assist him, help him get that funding and sustain.
Yes. Yeah. Well, thank you, Charlene. Thank you for coming in and sharing those great stories and the great work that First Home Alliance is doing and that you are doing as well.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
I hope you enjoyed this interview with Charlene Watkins Byrd, HUD Certified Senior Housing Counselor with First Home Alliance. If you would like more information, please visit our website. Now it's time for us to check our inbox. This is where we check our box to see recent questions sent to us by you, our viewing audience, about financial wellness and housing. Today's question comes from Woodbridge, Virginia. As a homeowner, my COVID-19 forbearance period is ending. What should I do? That's a great question, and today we're here with Charlene Watkins Byrd, and she can answer that question for you. What advice do you have for that homeowner?
That advice that I have for that homeowner, you want to do two things at the same time. You want to reach out to your servicer or your bank or lender, as some people know it as, and then you also want to reach out to a HUD-approved housing counseling agency to act as an advocate, to also reach out to different partners in the community to see what products, what programs are available to help you sustain.
All right. Well, thank you for that advice, Charlene. Again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy day for being here to show and share with our audience. I'm Larry Laws of First Home Alliance, and it's been my pleasure to share with you our mission and highlight people in our community that are making an impact. If you have questions about financial wellness or how we can help make your dream of homeownership a success, email us or email your question to our inbox at help@firsthomealliance.org. And tune into our show next time to see if your question was selected to be shared with our audience. You can easily get more information about our services by visiting our website. Thank you for watching today's segment of First Home Alliance, and join us next time to rock your block.
Glad to know that, some of this stuff about credit, buying houses is written down somewhere. A lot of the times it's always hearsay, like other friends or family members who have bought houses before, but they can never, tell you legit what you need to get done and do before buying a house.
I definitely think this class should be required for all first home buyers because a lot of times the real estate agent doesn't explain the process to you. So I think this is very important.
It's from the credit up to receiving a loan, and the most important thing is the process that you go through when you're buying the house, and there are a lot of process which you don't have idea about that before you take this class.
Speakers who came up and spoke about each section, they were very knowledgeable in their field, and I felt like it was relatable. They didn't just throw out a whole bunch of terms that went over my head, but they really explained it in a way to where I understood it, and I could even explain it to my children, and it was even easier for me to take home and kind of remember and process and apply to my next steps. The process was amazing.
They start first with the class before even finding a lender or agent. So I did all that and I wasn't able to purchase, and then I was like, oh, you know what, there's a lot of information I'm not aware of. Let me just start from the beginning, to put everything on hold. Start from the
Piecing the information together, because you've heard things about the loans and about this and about the credit, but this is like a summary, and it just gives a clear flow of where to go with what you have and kind of building up a plan. So that kind of gives me a whole picture of where I needed to go and how to get there.